Hi, everybody.
Hi. We're live. We're on time.
Yes.
We actually had a few minutes to spare today. We were here at 5 minutes to, ready to
Okay.
go.
Then you always try to do something else, though.
Yes. Yeah.
I've
And
got
then we're still
what else
adjusting.
to
Right.
do.
Right. So we've got some people jumping in already. Valerie, Klaska, Sandy, Sarah, Jean,
Janie. And
Luann.
so, Valerie, where are you? Where are you? I know you've got good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you may be. So where are you? I know Klaska is out east. I think Sandy's in Ontario. Sarah's in Ontario. Janie's in New Brunswick, and Luann is from Missouri.
Klaska's in Calgary.
Well, I knew. I'm sorry. I meant out west. I meant out west, not out east. Oh, Minnesota. Oh, Germany. Wow. Hi, Louise. Hi, Kathy from New Jersey. South Carolina. This is so awesome. Like, I just love seeing all the places all over the world popping up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Saskatchewan. Didn't they just have snow? Or was that Manitoba?
That will be us on Tuesday, Noelle. We're supposed to get snow.
No. Oh, no. Oh, we have Maine, Toronto. We're having a nice day here today.
We are. It is. It's really nice today.
And Ross is out there doing some kind of outside stuff. Not quite sure what, but oh, Pennsylvania. Anyway, nice for everyone to join us for some reason or other. I don't know. This morning I got in my head. I thought, like, I said to Ross, I said, what if nobody comes on? And then I said, oh, well, I can talk to Kelly for an hour. He goes, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can manage that.
Yeah, we have no problems talking.
If we get snow, it won't last. And we can't go anywhere anyway.
No.
I know I asked Ross the other day, I said, am I still allowed to go upstairs? This lockdown is just getting crazy. So Klaska says they're having snow right now, but it was tank tops yesterday. Layer.
I have to switch my earphones. I thought these were going to work. They're not working. You're just clicking. That's not going to work. Is everybody else though? Is the sound okay today?
Maybe it's just my knitting needles, Kelly.
I could hear my knitting needles last week clicking because they're wood, but just give me a second here.
Okay. Hi, Mary. Hi, Barb. Glad everyone's joining us. What did everybody do this week? I did start a new project, actually. I wasn't going to start it for a while, but I thought we're in lockdown again now for another 6 weeks in Ontario, and they've actually tightened up restrictions. So I actually started my Marie Wallen sweater. I was actually inspired by Kathy. Kathy last week had her burra cowl, and she was thinking of working on it while we were talking. And I thought, I really should start that color work. So I got it out and I started a sleeve. So it's a lot of fun, but it's going to be a labor of love.
Yes. Noelle showed me just a little bit that she'd done on the sleeve.
Yes. It's
how many ends in 6 inches?
There's a lot of ends, believe me. And I'm sewing them in as I go.
I was going to say, you've watched my tutorial, right?
I like sewing it in because it tightens up that last stitch. So
Right.
It just depends on what you're doing, right? And this is a finer yarn. And I've sewn them in, but I haven't cut anything. So when I block the sweater, all I'll have to go through and snip off all the ends then. Oh, we've got Glenda from Edinburgh. Oh, she's getting her second vaccine this week. That's awesome. I got my first vaccine this week, and that was an experience. I was a little anxious, and once I was fine waiting, and once I got the shot, I honestly felt like I was going to pass out. So of course they had all the EMT come over, and they had to give me juice and put a cold pack on the back of my neck. But anyway, I was okay. I was fine. 15 minutes later, I'm sure it was just like anxiety about getting it. So anyway, it was funny. I was talking to Caroline this week, Caroline from Off the Grid Needle Arts, and she sent me this little clip of this cartoon because we were talking about vaccines, right? So in this clip, it's too bad I don't have it to show you, but in the clip, there's like, they're at a bar like I don't know what kind of a bar, but the caption was, the bars are reopening, but only the vaccinated people can go. So they've got all these old ladies, like 80-year-old ladies, are pole dancing and they're holding each other up. It was pretty funny.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Okay, I just dropped stitches.
3 minutes in, and you've already lost stitches.
I was so excited about going to that bar.
I saw a funny one yesterday. I thought this was good because I don't know what the rest of the world is like, but in Ontario, the price of lumber and anything wood has absolutely skyrocketed. And somebody had, it was like a for sale, an ad, and it had this nice sheet of plywood, and it said, for sale or trade, looking for a diesel truck with these options. And it says, don't bother lowballing me. I know what this is worth. I thought that was pretty cute.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Like some things are just really hard to come by. Like my son moved last September and he had ordered a fridge 2 months before that because he knew he was moving and going into a house. He still does not have it. So, but luckily my other son had one that he lent him. So, oh, hi, Jacqueline. Zoe says hi. Hi, Zoe.
Emily finished her first, I missed, it just rolled up, finished her first ever pair of socks. Woohoo, Emily. Yeah, and a pair of mittens for a friend's mom in a nursing home who has circulation issues. You rock. Way to go.
She finished a baby quilt for her first grade grandson due in June. That's awesome too.
Oh.
Oh, Linda got her second last week. She said that's why she missed KnitChat. So she must not have. Linda, did you not feel very well after the second one? I'm a little worried about the second one. But
Phyllis has been working on her pink fizz from Andrea Mowry. That's in both of our lists, isn't it? The pink fizz.
It is, but I keep spending time on Ravelry looking at patterns and getting distracted.
It's hard not to. Do you like it? Are you enjoying the knit, Phyllis? It's a really nice pattern.
Linda can come pole dancing with me.
There you go.
I still have to get my second shot, Linda. And I'm going to have to do a lot of practicing to pole dance. Can't say I've ever done that in my life.
Hi, Diane from Kimberley, BC. She's finished her second Yume this weekend, and she's working on a shawl right now. I think you're getting some beautiful weather there. I was chatting with my daughter yesterday, and she said summer has finally arrived.
Oh, there's lots of people that are getting their second shot, so that's good. Oh, Valerie has the yarn set up for pink fizz, but she's going to swatch to see what works. Oh, and Kathy says after you get your second one, you just sleep for a long time. I slept for a long time after the first one. I'm worried now. Oh, Bonnie just finished her Miss Arena. You've done that. That's on my list.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Valerie says she has way too many whips. I'm like usually not too bad, but right at the moment I have 3 sweaters and 2 pairs of socks. And that's a lot for me to have on like at once. Like I'll usually maybe have socks, a sweater, and a shawl, but the 3 sweaters is like, and I want to start more. So
I don't have a lot going on. I'm still working on my Celtic knot sweater. I haven't touched it since last Sunday. And I've got some socks on the go. I have a couple of sets of socks on the go, I guess. And I did a few other small projects this week, so not a lot on the needles. Lisa's got her second shot. She says she feels horrible. Oh, sorry, Lisa.
I hope you feel better. Oh, Lisa, yeah, I hope you feel better. Valerie's got 3 sweaters, a shawl, and 2 socks. Okay, so I can cast on more then.
There you go.
I think it's the sweaters. I think it's when I've got that many sweaters on the go.
Right.
I feel a little overwhelmed. Like socks, a couple of pairs of socks that's fine, or like a shawl as long as it's not a huge shawl. But it's, yeah, when I get 2 or 3 sweaters, it's
Well, I find, and I don't know if this is the same for you. So if I have like a lot of projects on the go and then one sits in timeout for a while, even though I use Knit Companion and it will pick me right back up where I left off, like I'm not concerned about losing my place in the pattern or anything. But do you still find like you need to get your head back into the project, or
Yes.
it isn't just something like you can just pick it up like a book and start reading? Well, even with a book, you'd still have to go back and get your head around it, right? So I find that when I let things sit for a long time, it takes me a while. And then I suffer from that feeling of knowing that I'm going to have to get back into a project. So I will sort of delay picking something up because I think, well, I need some headspace to work that through, to get my head back into the pattern. So,
well, that's like actually all the sweaters that I'm doing right now are all, they are all winter sweaters. So it means that once they're done, I'm not really going to be wearing them probably till next fall, but I don't want to put them away and then pick them up next fall. And I'd rather they were done. I know they're done, and put them away, and then they're all ready to wear next fall when the weather gets cooler again. Because you're right, it's you tend to put it aside because it's like, well, it's not like I can just pick it up and knit. I have to do some figuring out before I can start knitting it again.
Right. Or at the very least, you have to go back and kind of read a little bit of the pattern where you're into.
Yeah.
Sarah's looking for a scrappy sock pattern. She has some leftovers and she wants to make one for her husband. I've never actually used a pattern. I guess for scrappy socks, I just go at it. But what was I looking at today? Oh, Julianne has twin stitches design. She put out a tutorial for a toe-up sock, and it was stripy. So I guess you could use that as a pattern too, though, right?
Mm-hmm. What was one? One was, I think, the Sprocket sock by Pip and Pin.
Okay.
That's one that you can use different pieces in. And there was another one too that was, and I can't remember the name of it. Sarah, I know I've got it, and I've got it favorited. I will send you the link on Ravelry after, or on Instagram or something once I find it.
Valerie's doing something fun. She says if she has a project that's not bringing her joy, she finds sorry, it's way back there. I'm losing you. She finds a friend and she trades timeout whips. That's interesting. You mean you actually just swap? Like somebody else will pick up your knitting and you pick up theirs? Yeah, and then her friend can finish her frog. That's fun.
Yeah.
That's super fun.
Well, yeah, if you were going to rip it out anyway, if someone else wants to do it or finish it, if it's something that, it's not bringing you joy anymore.
Sue is waiting to start Make Along, with a Monty Python theme, The Knights Who Say Knit. I'm a huge fan. Where is this, Sue? Where is this Make Along? Clue a girl in here. Mary says test knits bump everything to the side. Mary's working on a VAR shawl that I've been following. It's stunning. It's so beautiful.
Rachel said that my granddaughters just woke up and they're excited to see me. So hi, Molly. Hi, Isla. They're also looking for Papa. They're always looking for Papa every time I go. Sarah said she was thinking of something like the Sprocket socks. I know this other pattern that I'm thinking of, Sarah, is similar. But anyway, like I said, I know I can find it easily once I'm off here, and I will let you know what it is. I do that.
Go ahead.
Sorry, what Mary said. I do find if I've got a test knit, then everything else gets, and I usually only test knit for Natalie.
Mm-hmm.
Remembrances Potteries, because she does absolutely gorgeous colorwork socks. So if I'm doing that, then yeah, everything else kind of sets to the side until I get the test knit done.
Mm-hmm. And Sheila was confirming the same thing. She said if she has something for a long time and a timeout, then sometimes she forgets the pattern and then has to go back. So maybe we're all sort of the same with that.
Well, and I think sometimes we put it in a timeout because there's a part we don't want to do. So I think the longer it sits there, the harder it is to pick it up and actually do that part when you didn't want to do it.
Okay, so like how many people have sweaters sitting in timeout because they're on Sleeve Island and they're just sitting there needing nothing but a sleeve? I've been
I
so
didn't even
guilty of that.
I didn't even count a sweater in my whips because that would be 4. It's been sitting there for 2 years because I have to do sleeves, and it's a gorgeous sweater. The back is all lace, and all I need to do is like pick up, but I have to pick up stitches along the side, which means I have to figure out where my how far up my side seams are going to go.
Okay.
That's all I have to do, and the sleeves are just stocking stitch. It could be done, and it's a gorgeous sweater. Maybe I'll pull that out this week. Maybe not. Maybe I will.
Diane, that's a great point too. Diane says that she's got 2 winter sweaters, but she says she's got cast-on-itis right now because of the spring, summer sweaters out there. And that's another thing too. So as the season changes, you might have some whips that were seasonally appropriate, like this heavy sweater. And then you might decide, well, I would just rather be doing all the summer things and the spring things. So then something else falls to the side.
Yeah. Oh, Trish says button bands for her. I totally agree on that. Button bands. Although usually once I get the first one done, I'm okay to get the second one. And that's the same with the sleeves. Like a lot of people say the second sleeve's hard. I find once I get that first sleeve done, I find it really easy to get the second one done because I've already mapped out where all my increases or decreases are going, depending on whether I'm going bottom up or top down. So I find the second one is just like easy knitting and then it's done. So.
And Valerie puts things in timeout if she's done something wrong with them. Well, that's a good place for them, Valerie. They should be in timeout.
That's right.
Oh, dear.
Oh, Emily says there's a new knitting exchange group on Ravelry where people are giving away or selling their whips.
Really?
I don't know. I just think it would be hard to pick up somebody else's and do it because depending on what it is, because everybody's tension is different.
Right.
Right.
And then that would take even more headspace trying to get into their pattern and figure out what they had done. They might have done, they might have done like if they had made any modifications, they might have made like a different cast on to the pattern or something that you would want to match on the sleeves.
Oh, Peggy's working on her 3rd pair of socks for April. Way to go. So I find like socks are definitely something I knit all year round.
Tammy said she took 4 years to finish a cardigan because it had a mistake in it.
I won't tell you about the one that I've got sitting there from 25 years ago that I just have to sew together.
That was like me and the quilt. 29-year project, or not 29. It was a 24-year project. And I kept pulling it out in those 24 years and I still didn't finish it. But it's done now, done and gone. And I get multiple pictures a week of a person or an animal snuggled up in that quilt. So I'm glad it's being used.
Kathy's back to working on her garden gate. That's a beautiful pattern too.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorites.
Oh, and Kathy says she did Natalie's Advent colorwork sock last year. I haven't done the Advent one yet. I know you kept saying you were going to do it and pull it out and do so much per month.
I feel so shamed by this because I love the pattern and I see every year Natalie is Remembrances Pottery and she's a good friend of ours and she starts rolling by the slideshow of all the people that are making that fantastic sock. And I say, that's it. Next year, January, I am casting that baby on and I am going to dedicate the time each month just to do that one little bit of color work. I even have a bag picked out for them. I just have to go, you know what it is? It's that I just need to take the time to sit down and pick out that main color and then play with the scraps. And I'm terrible. I can't bring myself to do it. So last year, again, the year was winding down and I was chatting with Natalie and I said, that's it, Natalie, I swear, I promise I'm casting it on in January because come December, I want to wear those socks. Yeah, they're not on needles yet. And I think about them all the time. But I'm terrible.
That doesn't have to be, I don't even know that you have to pick out a main color. Because they're all little individual
I know, but there's the one row of that main color between each one of those little patterns. So your rib and your toe would be that main color, and then you just have one stripe all the way through. And I think it's just honestly, I can't wrap my head around choosing the colors for each individual pattern. I'm a terrible, terrible person because I want to do it. Hi, Jess from Virginia. What else do we have there?
Oh, did you see this? Kathy says she watched Skein Cocaine's podcast. She did a whip confession. She had 57 whips. I don't know if I have that. Well, I probably have that many needles, but probably not of the ones that I use all the time. Like of the sizes that I use all the time, I would doubt that I had that many.
Yeah. Well, I have quite a few 2.25s, right? Because I like to just try different. I like to try different needles all the time, and then I have needles that I like for certain types of wool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I don't have 57 sock needles. Like 57.
No,
I don't have enough needles to cast on 57 pairs of socks at the same time.
Oh no, absolutely not. No.
So, yeah, I agree with Sarah. That would give me anxiety if I had 57 whips.
Hi, Bev from Bell River. Welcome to the KnitChat. Okay, now I have to go back and watch Skein Cocaine. I need to see this whip parade.
Susan said to Kathy that the podcast gave her anxiety. I hope she means Skein Cocaine's and not ours. we're trying to ease anxiety.
Right? It's been just such a dreadful week. I said I don't want to talk about this week. I don't want to have any down conversations in this week's KnitChat, but I'm just going to like say it and get it out. It was a crap week. That here in Ontario, we had a further restricted lockdown notice. Travel restrictions between provinces were on the table. I have a daughter in BC that I madly want to see that I can't get to right now. And so it was a rough week. And I'm just
Kelly, it doesn't even have to be like BC. I can't even see my daughter in London, which is an hour away.
I know, but somehow you just know, like, you know that if something were wrong, you'd get in a car and you'd go, right? I just feel like we were planning to go out and see her in July this year, and I'm just worried now that that's going to become a no thing. And I'm not going to lie, like, I have a fuzzy on my face. That's not what I'm not going to lie about. I'm not going to lie. When I heard that announcement Thursday afternoon in my office, like there were tears. It was a bad day. It was just a really rough day. Anyway, that's enough.
At one point, well, anyways, you're right. We're not going to talk about it. But Canada was doing so well. How did we get to this point?
I don't know. But
anyway, I heard, hopefully it's true, that April and May are supposed to be not that great, but then come June, we should be able to start to get a little bit more back to maybe where we were last summer.
I hope so.
I
hope so. Because, last summer wasn't as bad, right?
No.
That's enough. That's that. I've said my piece.
Yeah.
Moving on to happier things. Here's something nice that happened yesterday. So my son decided to cook a turkey dinner. They have one couple that they have maintained, like a visiting friendship with this past year. And every couple of months they get together and they do a friend dinner. Well, when the announcement rolled out, and it was his turn to do the dinner. So he was going to cook his first ever turkey dinner. And anyway, he heard the announcement and he got very panicked that they wouldn't be able to have the dinner, and the turkey was already out and thawed. So he threw it in the oven about 4:00 on Friday evening, and the friends came over. They had a turkey dinner at 11:30 at night. I don't know who could eat a turkey dinner at 11:30 at night, but they did. And then yesterday he showed up and he had this great big turkey. He had it was still needed to be taken off the bones. And he says, here, the only condition, and he brought over, he had garlic mashed potatoes, he made homemade stuffing, he had carrots. So it was my first porch drop-off dinner that I was the recipient of instead of me taking out a dinner. It was kind of nice. But he says, the only thing is, he says, you're going to need to make me some turkey soup. So I went to the grocery store this morning because I was out of carrots. I came home. I had the broth ready. I boiled everything down last night. I was ready to start the soup. And I realized that I ate the last of the celery with my hummus. So that didn't happen this morning either. But anyway, I've got turkey. And I've just missed a whole bunch of comments. Gail's having a rough week too.
Yeah.
Oh, Barb hasn't even been able to go to her property in Quebec for to check on it. Yeah, I heard that's a thing too. Wow. Even if you have like cottages, you're not allowed to do that either.
Yeah, and Valerie hasn't seen her grandkids since November of 2019. Wow.
Oh, if she could hug me, she would. Oh, Valerie, I'm telling you, it's hard. It's just hard.
I know, but like Bev says, we just need to follow the guidelines in order to get past this. And I think that that's the whole point.
But I am following the guidelines, and maybe that's what breaks my heart. I'm following the guidelines. I know, Noelle, you're following the guidelines. Yep. We're doing all the things. My life is like this big right now, and it has been for a very long time. And still, I'm being restricted and kept away.
But it's because of people that are not following the guidelines.
I know, but it's okay. That's a whole other thing. All right, moving on.
Okay, well, ASA says they've been in strict lockdown since February, and they're now seeing their numbers start to decrease.
Okay, so that's encouraging.
Yeah. So, and as I think as more and more people get vaccinated, that's going to help, because countries where the vaccines rolled out quicker, they're seeing their numbers decrease. So.
And Sheila is knitting and mailing it to people in lieu of visiting. That's very kind.
Yep.
That is very kind. Oh, happy birthday, Valerie. Friday was her birthday.
Sue says they're opening up. We're opening up too soon. Where are you, Sue? And yeah, Linda, you're right. The problem is that some aren't following the guidelines.
Valerie got her first birthday present that she received in 10 years. Valerie. That's a long time to go without a birthday present.
Oh, South Carolina. Oh, she got some Chelsea Lux.
Oh,
she got it sold out.
That's worth waiting for. That's a very nice birthday gift.
Yeah, Chelsea Lux was what I did my Elton with, and I loved it. So did anybody buy anything yesterday on any of the local yarn store sales?
I behaved.
So did I. I haven't bought yarn in like 3 weeks. That's a long time. But we want to go to a yarn store to buy yarn.
I do. So that was the thing. I was very conflicted. Actually, Noelle and we got together on the phone yesterday for local yarn shop day. We had a conversation about it. I really wanted to go out and I really wanted to support a local yarn store. But here's the thing. I was just in this down space. And so if I couldn't actually go out and have the enjoyment of being in the store, squishing all the squish and running into friends and stuff, I just felt, I don't know, I couldn't do it. Yeah, so, I mean, I bought yarn last week. I bought yarn the week before. I'm doing my part. I am helping the economy. But yesterday, it just felt wrong to just be at home alone shopping on my iPad or something. So
the real reason I didn't was because I had a lot of yarn that I still had to catalog and put away. And I had done that the day before. And as I did that, I'm looking at all this yarn thinking, I don't need to buy any more yarn. Well, that'll only last for like a week or so. And then I'll be, when it's out of my mind, I'll be back to buying yarn.
Once it's all tucked away, then you can just go back shopping again.
Yeah.
Phyllis got an advent calendar.
But Klaska says she got up at 7 and ordered hers right then.
Good for her. Good for her.
And Linda says that's because you're spinning. Well, let's not talk about that. Because I didn't buy yarn, but you're right. I have bought fiber. But I don't think not in the last 2 weeks. Everything that I've purchased, I've already received. So I have nothing expected in the mail. So Kathy says she got some from the Knitting Loft.
I thought about it. All crossed my mind.
She has it in her cart, but she hasn't checked out yet.
Oh, Sheila went to Bad Anna's.
Actually, we need to go out there. There's a lot of good yarn stores out west.
Well, we plan to go out there. We will. We'll go out there.
Anyway, Marianne says she has to get storage goodies before she buys more yarn. I have mine up to date, finally, all stored and cataloged. And so Kathy says she didn't go to the local yarn store, but she did go online. Oh, she got the 50 weeks of shawl book.
That's such a pretty book.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, Deborah got a refund from Air Canada, so she had to buy some yarn to celebrate. Way to go.
Rachel's my daughter-in-law, and she just bought her first ball winder. She hasn't had a ball winder, so she's been winding all of her balls by hand. So she just got it. It was funny. She talked to me this week that she got it, and she just scanned up some things just to see it. And I told her, I said, Rachel, wait till you get to the point where you're going, what can I start to knit that I don't have to wind? Because it's so exciting at first.
But I remember it was fun at first too, right? But you know what? Her girls are almost old enough to start winding for her.
Well, my son told her that he could remember having to hold it on his hands like this while I wound it.
I know, right? I used to sit on a couch and like put my legs out straight and put my feet like this, and then put the skein around my feet and wind off my feet this way. So then I always felt like, well, I'm getting a little bit of a workout and a yarn ball.
Yeah. Well, Rachel said that she would actually like wind for us just for some wine. Oh, Asa said she got a year-long sock club from Fireweed Fiber in Winnipeg. Wow, I never heard of them. I'm gonna have to check that out. Have you heard of them?
No.
No, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Somebody was playing bingo on Fiber Hustle. I've told you, Noelle, I want to sign us up for that.
Yesterday, I think.
Yes.
But Kathy said she watched Needles at the Ready with Kevin and Ray, and they say, we're knitters. We buy stuff.
We buy stuff. We do. There's lots of things that should be on a t-shirt. You're right.
Yep.
And then if you see, and if somebody were laughing at the t-shirt, then you would know that they're a knitter as well, right? That's right. That's the thing.
That's right. Valerie said that her grandson tried to help her winding yarn once, and it was the worst yarn ever. Yes, but do you remember one of the first times that I went knitting with you, and I had just gotten that Knitter's Pride?
Yes.
Ball winder?
Yes.
And it was the first one that I got, there was something wrong with it. Like my husband ended up filming using it, and the thing would pop off, and it was all tangled. I ended up returning it, and they sent me a new one. But I took this ball, and I had coffee with Kelly. We were probably there for 2 hours, and it took me the whole 2 hours to unwind that ball.
I remember that. But you were determined. You did not give up.
No. So Valerie says she loves Fiber Hustle and Needles at the Ready. So do I.
They're a new podcast to me, and I've been watching them when I'm down here sewing, and I really like them too.
Yep.
So we have to play bingo with them then, okay?
Okay.
I'll sign us up for the next round.
Okay.
I don't play bingo, but I think that would be fun. That sounds fun.
Well, it's got to be some sort of fiber bingo or something, you would think, right?
I don't know. I have no idea. Got no expectations.
Oh, that's right. We'll find out. Anyway, so what else did you do this week? Well, you had to work.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I had to work. I don't know. Like nothing really even funny happened to me. It was a pretty quiet week. I had no good stories to tell from my week. Generally something happens, but nothing at all this week. My husband cooked 2 more chef's plate meals, which are a huge thing. I don't know if I've ever talked about our chef's plate adventures on here. So my husband is not a cook. And I find that that's a little odd because I work with a lot of men and they all do the cooking, not my husband. So we got talking one day about chef's plate. And I said, well, the guys at work did the math and they figured that if we've been married for, I mean, this goes beyond how many years we've been married. We were still together before that. But they said, even if you, for the amount of time that you've been married, and the meals that you've had to prepare, they did the math and it worked out to like 9,000 meals that I've had to shop for. Think about, oh, what are you making that face for? You've done more. So
I know that's what I'm making the face because it's like,
okay.
That many.
So they said, that's a lot of meals. And I said, yeah, it is. And I said, it isn't even just making the meals. I don't mind making the meals. It's the thinking about it every day. It's like, oh, what do we want to have for dinner? Because I never get input from him. It's just up to me to decide. Right. And it's just, I don't know. It's just a whole thing. So I said, that's it. I'm going to sign us up for Chef's Plate and we're going to get 2 meals a week where he's going to make the meals because everything, if you know about Chef's Plate, every single thing that you need comes in the bag and they have a really good recipe card and you're away at the races. So I had a conversation with him. He showed less than 0 interest, but I proceeded anyway. And I think this has been going on, I want to say for like 9 weeks now. And the first weeks we got the bags. I was pretty excited at work, brought them home. I tried to show them to him. He had 0 interest in looking at it. But when I pulled in, I could hear a noise coming from my house. And when I got out of the car, I realized what it was. These smoke alarms were going off in the house. And when I walked in, the house was filled with smoke. And the mistake that he had made, and you know what? Okay, I would give him the benefit of the doubt the first time, is that they said on the recipe card, and it was cooking like a hamburger. He had to make his own hamburger patty. And so they said, put the parchment paper on the cookie sheet and put it in on the top rack of the oven. And I would interpret that one way is that there are 2 racks currently in the oven. I would put it on the top rack that is currently in the oven. He interpreted it the other way and he took the rack and he put it all the way to the top of the oven. So it's, I don't know, very close to the top of the oven. And it was a smoke show. And the parchment paper nearly caught on fire and the smoke alarm and the smoke. It tasted great, but it was hilarious. And anyway, so now the second one, I think he had...
Kelly, I probably would have put it on the rack closest to the top of the oven. I wouldn't have thought about, because I could put my racks anywhere. So when they say on the top rack, that depends where they are in my oven at that time. So I would probably move it to the top position on the...
I know what you think about a meat that has a fat content that close to the top of your stove. So anyway, so he thought that was just the worst thing ever. So then he persevered. He made the second meal. The smoke alarms went off on the second meal too, but nothing caught on fire. So that was a little bit better. But now he's actually doing a whole lot better. And so for me, here's the thing. It isn't that I don't want to cook anymore. I still want to cook, but it's just, it's like such an immense treat. And he gets home early. He's finished work at 3:00. I'm not home until 5:00. So I'm thinking, look at the evening I can gain if I could come home, and what would it be like to walk in the house and have a meal on the table? So he's been doing this. And I have to say, they are some of the best meals I've ever had because I didn't have to think about them. I didn't have to cook them. And they're on the table, hot when I walk in, and I am here for it 100%. He keeps asking when this little experiment's going to end. Never is it going to end. I am so loving it. So
Klaska said book, Operation Sock Drawer Coiled this week. What a game changer. She can now lay it open flat for easy reading and following the patterns. I've thought about doing that with different books because some of them, like when you open them, you can't open them fully flat.
Right.
So, because I had thought of doing that with some of my Marie Wallen books, just so that you can actually see the pattern better. So, and that book, don't you have that book, don't you? That Operation Sock Drawer? Don't you have that?
I don't know. Do I?
I thought you did. I thought that was one that you got around Christmas time. Anyways, I was looking at it.
I do. I do have it.
I was looking at it online. There's great patterns in there.
Yeah, there is.
And you can now you can get an online version. So I'm thinking of even maybe getting that. Not that I wouldn't want the other version, but I'd have to wait for it. Whereas I could get the online one right away.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there was a lot of good. Actually, I think that there might have been some scrappy sock patterns in that book.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were quite a few patterns in there that I liked. Yeah. But it went to the bookshelf and it hasn't come off again. Need more time. Yeah. Well, you know, with my husband cooking 2 meals a week, I'll have all this extra time.
There you go.
Oh, we had a couple of questions about the meal boxes. Can you get 4 meals a week? Yes, I think you can. You can get as many meals as you like. The minimum is 2. So that's what we go with. And I find it's really reasonable. There is just the 2 of us in the house. So it ends up costing us $45 a week. And I break that down, you know, $22 for 2 of us to eat a meal. I think that's reasonable. And the quality is pretty good too. We had just a couple of incidents where something in it was a little awry, and they've been fantastic. Their customer service is really, really, really good. Gail says, my husband sounds like hers.
My husband can cook basic stuff. He just doesn't, because I don't mind cooking. And I'm home, right? I'd be different if I was working. I wouldn't want to have him be home, but I'm home, so it's not.
It's the treat, you know, like and people will understand what I'm saying. It's like, so if you are the main cook in your house and then you get invited, remember when we used to get invited to friends' houses for dinner? Yeah. So if you get invited for dinner to somebody else's house, it is like the greatest treat in the world that somebody else has prepared this meal for you. And it tastes so much better just because it's just fun to go out and have somebody else do the thinking for you. Right. And I love doing that. I love having friends in for dinner. I love going to friends' houses for dinner. Look forward to doing that again someday. Yeah. And Gail, that's funny too, because you're exactly right. So if it were Mike's night to cook, and I said, can you make something quick for dinner tonight? He'd say, well, what would you like? I could open a can of soup. And that's about all. That's it. Anyway.
When when was it? Was it? so I can't, time's just like an abstract concept now with this pandemic. I'm thinking, like, when did I do this? But it wasn't this winter, but last winter when I worked in London. Mm-hmm. And I would come home on Friday nights. Like, I worked in London the last couple of years. This year I didn't do it.
Right, for 6 weeks.
Yes, during tax season. And I would work in London, come home on Fridays, and Ross would always have dinner ready for me when I came in.
And it's such a nice treat, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I tried to explain. And so then I was I'm trying to, you know, make sure I use all the right language and like attaboys and everything else, and tell him how much I appreciate it. Yeah. And I said, Mike, honestly, it's just so nice to come in to a meal on the table. And he goes, I know, I've been enjoying it for 24 years. I'm like, I see where this is going. But anyway. Luann gets several done and love it.
Marianne says she uses her slow cooker and her husband does the veggies. Ross cleans up. I mean, I cook, Ross cleans up every night. So
yeah. And Mike does, he usually, like, when he gets home from work, he'll do the dishwasher, empty that out to get ready for dinner. And then he always helps clean up after. Like, it's not that he doesn't do things in the house, but it's just, I don't know. For me, honestly, it's just it's the planning and figuring out what somebody else wants to eat every darn day of their life.
So,
Deb says her husband's idea of cooking a meal is having takeout. And that's nice too, Deb. Just when they just take the reins and they're like, hey, let me take care of dinner tonight. Wouldn't that be nice? So anyway, this is not a husband bashing. I love my husband and I'm really enjoying his meals.
Yeah.
So he's very helpful in many ways. Currently, yesterday, we dug up the front of our house because we are renovating our basement, rec room. And when we took off the walls to better insulate the room, we noticed that the front wall of the house, the block is pushing in a little bit. So we had an excavator here yesterday digging up the front of our house. And currently today he's got jacks in there and he's pushing the wall back out. And then we're going to blue skin the wall and support it with steel beams from the inside and everything. And yeah, it's the third wall we've done in Courtright. It's clay. And I don't know how many houses a year I see digging up the dirt around their houses, redoing it when they were built. So
Valerie says she hasn't cooked in 7 years because her husband stays home and she works full time. Well, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, and Sarah says when she started working full time, her husband would cook 3 times a week and she would do 3 times a week. And the 7th night is leftovers. But now she said her teenage son cooks on the 7th night a week. That's
fun.
Cool. You should learn.
It's fun.
Yep.
One of the guys that I work with. So that's what he does now too. His kids are older teenagers and he usually would do the cooking because his wife works out of town. So it's longer for her to get home. But now that his kids are teenagers, they're each responsible for a night of the week. And he says, I don't care. They can either make the food or they can bring the food into the house already made. That's on them, but they each have a night. And I think that's really fun too. That's a great idea.
So I know when we used to be able to go on family vacations, when all our family would go, and I have 5 kids and you know, all the significant others and daughter-in-laws and son-in-laws. But we would, when we went like for a week, and then every couple would take one night and they would do the meal for that. And they were awesome meals.
Yeah.
You know, and on vacation, everybody only had to worry about
one meal.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
Somebody else, Barb says that she and her husband prep the meals together every weekend. Oh, that's a good idea too. He usually helps. Like if I'm in the kitchen and he might say, oh, what can I cut up for you? Or, you know, he will. But now that he's cooking, he still says, I'm not a cook. He says, all I do is assemble the food. And I said, yeah, but
when you get those boxes, does all the food come pre-prepped? Like if there's vegetables to be cut up, they're already cut up. And
No. You get a potato, you get an onion. You have to do all of the prepping as well. But now it's funny because now he's catching on. I know that he's better at this than he thinks he is. So
maybe he just doesn't want to know, Kelly. He's better at it.
Exactly. Yeah, he just doesn't want me to know that he can do it. But now, like, I even find that he'll be asking me questions about the meals I cooked. And it's like, oh, well, if I did some roasted vegetables, he'll say, oh, well, what spice did you put on these? So you see, the interest is there.
Yeah.
My plan is working.
Yeah.
Just persevere.
Yes.
And Jess did that too. They assigned nights to each person in the house. It's fun. We used to do that a lot on like on weekend nights or something when the kids were younger. Like we'd have a pizza night where we all kind of help dress the pizzas, or like a taco night and everybody's, you know, helping with items. And still, even on Family Day, the last few years on Family Day, we just seem to end up making pizzas on Family Day. I'm not sure why, but my son will come over and he worked for a time in the little pizzeria downtown. And so I always get him to do the crust for me. I'll make the dough and everything, but I always get him to roll it out and he's really good at it. So
it says cooking's a life skill. And he said, when my mother-in-law passed, we worried my father-in-law would starve because he hadn't cooked a meal in his life.
Yes.
You know, and it's the same like with my dad. My dad didn't cook. my dad didn't do laundry. My dad could fix the washing machine if it broke, but he didn't know how to do a load of laundry.
How to do the laundry. Exactly. I know. Mike's dad was the same when
that generation.
Right. Mike's dad was the same when his mom passed away. I was really worried about that too. But after a little while, he got really good at it. And we would go to visit and I'd say, well, what have you got for meals this week? And he used to kind of prep his meals like a week ahead, or he'd cook a lot of things to keep them in the freezer. But I'd say he always made his plate earlier in the day. I'm not sure why. And I'd say, well, show me that plate and there better be something green on it. He was always really quite proud of it.
Yeah.
So
Linda said her son's an amazing cook. Some of my sons are really good cooks. Sorry, Rachel. She may not be listening anymore. Curtis was, well, I must give him credit though. We, I don't know, this was back years and years ago. He would have been a teenager. Like he would have been probably 16 or 17. And some of us had gone to church and come home. And here we come home and Curtis is making scrambled eggs, just scrambled eggs. But he had the computer open on the kitchen table, Googling how to make scrambled eggs.
Slow and steady. That's how. Slow and steady.
He made them. Luanna wanted to know, did I wet block my winter's beach? Yes, I did. Yep. I soaked it and then kind of squeezed out as much water as I could. And then I did the whole towel rolling thing. So I might have put it in my washing machine just on spin in a garment bag if it had been for me, but it wasn't for me. Like it was a sample knit for Little Red Mittens. So I just wanted to make sure that everything that, there were no major catastrophes. So that's why I didn't get any excess water out that way, but it didn't take it that long to dry. So, Rachel wanted me to know that Curtis can now make spaghetti.
Expanding that portfolio.
Well, that was your teaching, Rachel, because I don't think he learned it here. But like some of my other sons are really good. Even my one son really was not a very good eater growing up. Very, very picky. Like he's all into like now the barbecuing and the smoking and the grilling. And so he's actually come a long way. Now, mind you, doesn't it seem like he was the one who like basically didn't like anything, wouldn't eat anything, and his fiance is a dietitian.
That's the way it goes.
So anyway, yeah. So it's good for the guys to learn how to cook. That's right. It's a life skill.
Mm-hmm. Well, I felted a pair of socks this week.
Did you?
I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. Literally, I must have had the brain completely turned off. So I came downstairs to do my laundry. There are a few pairs that I put in the washing machine. I use the little, the Knix underwear bags actually, because they're perfect size. They're only about this big, right? So I put a pair of socks in there. And I do have a few pairs that are a little bit looser. So I don't mind washing them in the washing machine. And then I just hang them to dry with all the other Knix underwear. Well, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking. So I had 2 pairs that I washed in the washing machine and that should have hung to dry. And I took it out of the washing machine. I looked at it and I'm like, yeah, that's the ones that are okay. And I woofed them into the dryer. Oh, Noelle, it was wool and alpaca.
Oh.
Yeah. And I really liked them because they had a golden toe. So when I took them out of the dryer,
really felted, like
no, not really felted. They're wearable, but they're not nice anymore. Let me just say that. For all intents and purposes, they're ruined. I'll still wear them, but when they came out of the dryer, they were like balled up. And I'm like, what's up with this? And then I'm like, what were you thinking? I was so angry at myself. So I took them out. They were still pretty wet, pushed them onto my feet and let them dry that way. And they're okay now, but I don't know. They're just,
they say too, if you do, you can actually kind of soak them and then like gently stretch the fibers, like to try and apart. You're not supposed to do it too like rough because you'll break them, right? But just like gently try and then do that a few times and see if they, so you could put them on like your sock blockers.
Yeah. Well, I was using my feet as sock blockers that night, but anyway, so like the tops of them are looser than they were before, but boy, I was frustrated. I've never done that. And I'm like, I don't even know what I was thinking. Well, clearly I was not.
Yeah. Vonda says she finished her night shift in a car, and did we block? I did wet block mine. Did you wet block yours?
I did. Yeah.
And I have, mine goes everywhere. So mine has actually been washed several times because literally it goes everywhere. So it's like on planes and whatever. So it gets washed fairly regularly and it's been fine. And I don't even pin it. I just kind of stretch it out when I'm walking it and it's fine.
I'm pretty sure I spun mine out a bit too.
Yeah, I think I might have with that one because it's pretty big. It would be pretty heavy. Yeah. Oh, Valerie said she's done that. I did it with a pair of, that's why I'm reluctant to knit socks in MCN, merino cashmere nylon, because the pair that I felted was, and they didn't go in the dryer. They were just in the washer and they felted. So,
well, when I say I put them in the dryer or in the washer, so sorry, the ones that I would put in the washer would be like a superwash or the Regia. They're fine to go in there. Like there's a few, or even a Patton's Croy are probably okay in the washing machine. But these were definitely not okay for the washing machine. Well, they would have been okay. I've put them in the wash before. That's true. But I don't know what I was thinking when I threw them in the dryer.
I just hand wash all of mine now but I do with my socks. I do, once they're hand washed, I do put them in a garment bag and spin the excess out of them and then.
Well, I was feeling really lazy because I have a little, it's like a wash tub that I keep in the laundry room. And so when I'm filtering out of the laundry basket, I always take my hand knit socks and I drop in the wash tub and then I wash them all by hand. The tub is overflowing. I've been saying for 2 weeks now, got to get these socks done and they aren't done. Maybe I'll do that today after this.
I actually have to go do that pretty soon because pretty soon we won't be wearing them. Next season. I've got to do that with my sweaters too, like figure out which ones I need to wash and get them all done for putting away for the summer.
Well, I don't put any away. I still have sometimes nights in the summer.
But I know which ones I'm going to wear. Like some of the ones that are done in like Briggs and Little, really heavy that I'm not going to be wearing in the summer.
Okay.
Right? But cardigans I do.
Oh, Nikki says maybe I can salvage them. I'm going to try that.
Yep.
Because I did buy a new gleaner, so I could do that. I never had a gleaner before. Do you have one?
Yep. I mean, I don't use it a lot because I don't find, I probably have, like I have a fair number of sweaters, right? So it's not like my sweaters get worn tons.
A lot, right.
Out. So I don't find that. I find the one that I do them probably have to glean the most is the boxy and buttony that I did in Madeline Tosh. What's the singles called? Merino Light.
Yes.
Because it's just a singles yarn. So I find like under here in that, I find I have to glean it there. So, but it's fine. Realistically, for a singles yarn, it still, I think, wears pretty well. So,
what sweater do you have on today? We didn't even talk about that.
Oh, this is the Earnest cardigan by Joji Locatelli. And it is done in Debbie Bliss fine. Debbie Bliss. Somebody tell me. It's the fingering weight tweed one. Anyway, that's what it is. So it's like a fingering weight tweed non-superwash. Fine Donegal. That's what it is. I knew I'd remember. Oh, Kathy got a gleaner for Christmas. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't use it tons, but like you do eventually have to go in and it's a lot easier than pulling them all off by hand.
Right.
So
it's probably gentler on the yarn too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, goodbye, Sheila. She's off for a visit with the friends in her bubble.
Oh, that's nice.
That's nice. Enjoy.
But yep. Wow, this
Goodbye,
ball.
Louise. Louise is heading out too.
I'm on the second sock, and like it hardly looks like I've used any out of the ball. Like some of those balls just seem like they go on forever.
Which yarn is that again?
The footsie. It's the first time I've
Oh,
used it.
right.
So yeah, I'm actually really kind of liking it. It's kind of like a really,
it's pretty.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll get done before the end of, I'm supposed to have them done by the end of April. And that'll be my 4th Christmas pair.
So we could talk about that too. We've got some entries already in our Rising Stars Cal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's on our Ravelry group. And that is running for April and May. And the goal of that is to knit a pattern by a designer that has less than 30 projects on that pattern. And there's been some really interesting patterns that people are working on. It's really nice. So, and I've been following on Instagram too, our hashtag for the KnitChat, the hashtag KNP 2021 KnitChat.
Yeah.
And I can put that up here.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks, Jess. Jess says she likes how this is knitting up. Like, I know it's so funny because sometimes you look at a ball of yarn or even when you wind, like a hand-dyed skein, like sometimes you really have no idea what it's going to knit up like.
I'm really terrible at that, at trying to figure out what something's going to look like.
Unless you know it's a self-striping and you kind of know it's going to like stripe like that. Like it is. It's really like I had no idea this was going to. So it was actually a nice surprise because I actually thought I wasn't going to like it.
It's pretty. It's really pretty.
Yeah. So I can't decide. I'm either going to put a classic gray because it goes with everything. Or I thought it would look nice with the navy. So I don't know.
Is that a blue that's in it?
It is a navy, yeah. And it's a dark navy, and the class or the navy from.
Hold it up again. What you're knitting though? The sock? Oh, I would go navy.
Navy? Okay.
Yeah.
Yikes, I just pulled the stitches out again. Jeez.
Mary really likes the Rising Stars Cal. She said she's found so many patterns. I know, it's fun. And it's really, I like to see what other people are coming up with too. Yep. Like it's, we get comfortable, right? With certain things, we go to the same places all the time. It's fun to try something new and see how somebody else envisions something working out. So everybody else thinks navy too.
Yes. Okay. Navy. And like I said, I think their navy is called Queen's Navy, and it is a very dark navy. So I think it'll look good. So I know because I looked at Little Red Mittens yesterday, and I was thinking of maybe getting some more basics, but like I said, I had put a lot of yarn away, and I thought maybe I better wait, especially since I have 3 sweaters, 2 pair of socks, another sweater from 2 years ago that I need to finish first.
I would like to get. What is that one? The orangey color, the Cajun?
The Cajun, yeah, Cajun.
Because I still have the pebble left too, or quite a bit of the pebble. And I think that would look really good with the Cajun.
Yep. Yep. That there is, like all the colors in that line go together so well.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway. I actually don't have anything in that yarn knit on the go right at the moment, but I'm actually thinking of maybe starting one like today. Why not?
Why not? Right? Why not? Start all the things.
Or get with that contrast pink. I looked at some of the pinks that I have, and they're not the right pink. Because like the pinks that I usually buy more like a pale pink or I should show this, or sort of like this.
That is so pretty.
This is a new fiber that I just spun. It's Cheviot, so it's a little bit more rustic, but I just like it's like the colors. I just fall in love with the colors. And this is like, it's got some deeper pinks, some corally pinks, a little bit of orange. And it's so much fun to spin it up and just watch the colors.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a very addictive hobby. Spinning and knitting. Well, I already knew knitting was. Well, now I'm realizing that spinning is too. Sarah said she bought a mini set from the basics line to check it out.
Oh, Jess wants to know what I'm knitting. I am working on my Celtic knot sweater. Turn it around. So it's a heavier sweater, I realized, and then it's got a cable that goes down the arm, and that will go all the way down to the wrist. It's a really nice pattern.
So are you liking knitting with that yarn?
I am. I really am. I was concerned that I wouldn't, because I thought it would be a little, I don't know, I thought it would feel too rustic for me, but it's soft. It's nice.
But it is sometimes even when you feel something before you start to knit with it, it feels different once you get it in your hands and are actually knitting with it. Plus, then you're probably going to soften up more once you block it.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Yep. And do you find any little fibery bits in it?
There's a couple. There's actually one that I just pulled out because it was just like a white linty neppy. But 2 times now I've had this pop in. I don't know if you can see it. See that little blue?
Yep.
And I'm leaving it there because I like it.
Yeah.
I think I've got 3 of those somewhere in the sweater, and I like it. I don't know why. So Valerie wants to know if we've seen Knit Happy with self-stripe. Are you talking about the book, Valerie? There's the
self-striping book
by Telly Bean Knits. I think that's what she's talking about, and she has come up with a collection of patterns that use the self-striping yarn. Yes, the book. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have that book?
I don't have it. I was thinking about getting it, and then I ended up grabbing something else instead, but I may circle back to it because I saw a pattern that one of the Forest City Knit girls were working on, and it was a pair of mittens that I really liked using the self-striping, and I thought that was quite nice. And I know that there's a few other in there that I would like as well.
Yeah, Sarah says she has it and she really likes it, that it's fun.
Now, I'm not sure. I had seen it on Amazon. I don't know if it's in some yarn shops as well. So I know that I don't think she sells it directly.
Okay. Sarah's going to get some self-striping from Gauge Dye Works. I really like Gauge. I've never had it, but their colors are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So, didn't I just say I wasn't going to buy yarn?
You did. You did.
Oh, now I'm being reminded of all these ones that I'd like to try. What was the other one we had to look at? Was fireweed from Winnipeg that Asa said she got a sock club from.
Okay.
That was in Winnipeg.
Fireweed? Okay.
I think, I could be wrong. I'll have to go back through the comments. I thought that's what it was. So I know some like self-stripings are just gorgeous. Sarah said it's her first time ordering from them.
Oh, so she said, Valerie says it's at Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, and the book depository, and they have free international shipping. Very good. I may have to check it out again then.
Yep.
I like to have a collection of books. I like it though when
do you knit from your book though. I like it when you get the book.
Where I'm headed. I like it, and they have a code,
yes,
so that I can drop it into Knit Companion. But I still like to have the book. I like to have the book to look at. I think that's the same premise as cookbooks, right? There are people that still like to have cookbooks to look at the recipes instead of just going through the internet. but I do like to have the books as well.
That's like the couple of Marie Wallen books that I've got are gorgeous books, but I don't want to wreck them by
Right.
like flattening them out to have to. So actually, we had talked about this one time, either on the KnitChat, on the podcast, and I did actually contact or write to them, and they sent me the digital. So the one that I just started, I've got it in my Knit Companion, and I don't have to wreck my book or.
Okay, but here's the thing in Knit Companion too, though. Do we have the ability to take a picture of a pattern and then import it into Knit Companion?
Yes, you can, but it's really hard to get that flattened out. To get it flat, to take a picture where you put the graph in, because when you put those graphs into Knit Companion where you're going up, like that's all based on math and the picture not being skewed at all.
Right.
So it's really hard to take a perfect picture of it when you can't flatten out the total page in the book. Valerie said she got hers from Amazon. Deborah said, what was the name of the book? What was the name of that book again? The
Happy Knits. Happy Knits.
Called?
I'm pretty sure Happy Knits.
Knit Happy.
Knit Happy.
Knit Happy.
Okay.
Okay.
But there's some really nice patterns.
Mm-hmm.
So we also talked too about our scheduling. So we're coming up, we're into the second half of the month now. So next Sunday will be the 25th of May or April. So that will be our last Sunday knit chat. And then the first Tuesday of May is when we'll go to the Tuesday nights at 7:00 Eastern time. Did I say that right, Noelle?
Yes. Next Sunday still, which next Sunday I think is the 24th.
It should be the 5th.
Oh, 25th. Okay. Yes. The 25th. Yeah. Okay. So next Sunday is the 25th. So we'll do a knit chat next Sunday at 2. That'll be the last April
Sunday.
Month. Yes. The last Sunday. And then we will switch. I think, is it May 4th? Is that the first Tuesday in May? I think. I don't have my calendar right up here, but somehow I think I was looking at it and I think it's the 4th.
Okay. But whatever the first Tuesday in May is, anyway.
Yeah. Yep, it's the 4th.
4th. Okay.
Yeah, at 7 p.m. So
maybe we could even do some outside sessions. I don't know. I don't know how well that would work for me, but
here is 7 o'clock. I can have a glass of wine. Whether I can knit and do the wine at the same time, I don't know. Oh, Klaska said it's her birthday.
Oh,
on that she must be mean on May 4th. Oh, Kathy says she bought Knit Happy Kids sweater. Oh no, I thought they knit Happy Kid sweaters with the self-striping yarn for sleeves. Oh yeah, yeah. So you do the sock yarn for your sleeves, and then just yeah. I think there's probably lots of good patterns in it. I know I've seen a couple done. Oh, Linda's marking her calendar for the 4th.
So Klaska says yes, her birthday. So Klaska, how many times have you heard your birthday wish would be May the 4th be with you, right?
I was just thinking that.
I have a friend whose birthday is also on May the 4th, and that's probably her most overused line that she heard. It's like me working at a cemetery and everybody wants to say, ha ha, I bet you people are dying to get in there, right? Yeah, because I've never heard that before. So original. Goodness.
Yeah. No, my dad used to, every time we go on vacation and we'd go through a town and he'd see the cemetery, he'd point at it and he'd go, there's the dead center of town. Of course, we're all going, oh, Dad.
Grown.
Every town.
Yeah. Everybody thinks their jokes are funny.
Yeah.
Oh, Klaska said she always hears that.
Yeah, like that. So, Oh, there's an adult sweater with stripes across the top half too. Yeah, I think it's just like imagination what to do with self-striping yarns, right? And there's so many different self-striping yarns because you can get ones that have tiny stripes and then ones that have bigger stripes. So depending on what you're doing, because I know that one shawl that I did with the self-striping, I really liked how it turned out. I can't remember the name of the shawl, but and that had
was really pretty.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just another way to use your self-striping yarn.
Oh, and there's an adult one too.
Yeah.
Okay. That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'd like to do more with the self-striping yarns, right? Than just, the socks.
That would also give us a good excuse to buy more self-striping yarn.
Yes, it might.
Well, especially I'm wondering if you wanted a bigger stripe, because like a lot of them you can get
you could double up.
Well, a lot of them
go ahead
from each ball, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the ones that come in the two cakes that are identically matched. So you could just like alternate and knit from each one and get a bigger stripe.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
So. Oh, Valerie said she's going to dye her own.
That's a great idea too. It's fun how I'm not really sure how everybody dyes them, but I know that I've seen some pictures that Chantel from Mud Punch posts, and she uses little mason jars.
Yeah.
And each mason jar has a different color. But that'd be sort of a fun experiment. I'm sure it's really time consuming though, right?
Like when it's like an indie dyer that's selling like quantities of specific one, like do they have to dye each one individually? Do I need an excuse? Yes, I do need an excuse. It makes me feel better.
Yeah.
So, well, I actually really don't. It was funny because we were talking, who was I? Oh, I was talking to my daughter-in-law, Rachel, today, and we're just talking about buying things. And sometimes how when you buy something, especially if you make a big purchase, you kind of get that feeling after about like, oh, should I have done that? Maybe I shouldn't have bought it. And there's an actual
buyer's remorse. That's what that's called.
It's called cognitive dissonance is the actual marketing term for it. It's called cognitive dissonance. Luckily, I don't suffer from that.
You don't suffer from that.
No.
I just think, you know what? There are so many worse things I could be buying than yarn.
That's
right.
That's right.
It makes me happy. And it's not like a short-lived thing because it takes a while. It isn't just that you buy it and you get it in your hand. You're like, oh, it's so pretty, and you're done with it. Then you have to make something with it. So it's a longer lasting, lasts longer than a chocolate bar. That's what it does.
Okay, well, like think about buying fiber. Because first you get to buy it, then you get to spin it, then you get to knit it.
You could take that a step further and you could buy undyed fiber.
I know. I was thinking that, but I don't know if I'm ready to go. I'm not ready to go there yet. So never say never, right? Oh, Linda once bought a fleece for $300.
$300. Wow. I bet it was gorgeous though.
So did you process the whole fleece, Linda? Like that's a lot of work too. She said it was glorious.
Glorious.
Sarah said, why didn't you just buy the sheep? Yeah, you could buy the sheep, then you could keep getting fleece.
That's right. You could get fleece every year.
Just like my little yak.
Is it just once a year? Like, does a sheep only give one coat a year? Does anybody know that? I don't know.
I was just watching the Fleece and Harmony podcast this morning, and they were shearing, but I don't know if that's, I wonder if it is. Like, I wonder if they shear them now so that like they don't have that big heavy coat in the summer.
Right. But you can't take it in the winter. You don't want them to be cold.
Right. So, Valerie said it depends. Oh, Barb says twice. Valerie said it depends upon the breed.
Some sheep are twice.
Linda said her husband wouldn't let her buy the sheep. I totally get that, Linda. My husband wouldn't let me buy a yak. I told him I'd keep it in the backyard. So anyway. And Sarah says usually once. So maybe it does just depend on the breed or the. Anyway, I'm not at the point yet where I want to process the fleece, because about 2 summers ago, Ross had gotten this fleece, but I think this was like meat sheep. Say that, meat sheep. So their fleece is like, it was really greasy, really lanolin-y, and he tried to clean it, and then he was going to take it somewhere to get it spun, but it was just too much work, and he couldn't get all the lanolin out of it. And then I think he put it in too hot water, which causes it to kind of felt a bit, and so I think there's a whole process behind it. Oh, Barb says that Fleece and Harmony do that.
Well, Noelle is frozen. I'm guessing maybe her camera is down to less than 10% because that's what happened to me several weeks ago. So she might be frozen until the end. I'm not sure. Anyway, we're at an hour and 20 minutes anyway, so I'm probably going to wrap this up. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us. We look forward every Sunday to this, and we have some new followers on our podcast page as well. So hello to new followers, and for those of you that are sticking around, happy to see you back. It's been a rough week, so this was a nice way to end it. And I'm just going to minimize Noelle so she's not staying there frozen. She won't like that. There we go. So again, we'll see everybody next Sunday. And after that, we're going to be moving to Tuesday so that we can all enjoy the warm weather. It was so good. I'm just looking at all the goodbyes. Thanks for the laughs. Well, we try, Sarah. I can't help it. Life is real, right? It's real. But anyway, it was lovely to spend time with you again today. And please post some things in Instagram so that we can see what you're working on. We're really having a good time following along. And yeah. Thank you, Jess. I hope I have a better week too. I hope everybody has a great week, and we'll catch up again next Sunday. Thanks for watching. Take care.